Good morning, Blood Bowl coaches, and welcome to the Star City Blood Bowl League Season 7, Week 3 roundup, where we go through the standings, we'll look at honors, we'll look at the upcoming round 4 matches, and maybe get a few predictions in as we go. So I guess without further delay, let's just jump right into it. We're going to look at the Blue Ridge Division first. So the Blue Ridge Division currently has one leader with 9 points, which is the Southeast Purple Haze, an Underworld Denison team um, that has 2 wins and 1 draw. The Kansas City Dark Elf team is not far behind with 2 wins, no draws, no losses with 7 points, and they actually have already had their bye. And they are still the only undefeated team left in the Blue Ridge Division. The Tricera Stompers and Ulthuan Winds pull up with 6 points apiece in 3rd and 4th place. Then we have the Scumdogs of the Universe, Lothlorien Predators, and the Blackwater Ferrymen all tied with 5 points for 5th through 7th. And then the Liver Spoiled Wretches with 2 points in 8th. And the Bloodied Barons, Mill Mountaineers, and the Boggy Bottom Boys all with 1 point so far during this season. So looking at a little bit of what's gone on so far, so the Southeast Purple Haze are leading the division in touchdowns scored, casualties caused, casualties against, completions, and a number of other things, injuries for and against, fouls. They've caused 5, so have the Liver Spoiled Wretches, so there's kind of a tie there. And they've also killed 2 players and had 2 players killed. Which is a lot of death on their end. I think those deaths that they've had killed were probably just snotlings, but nevertheless, it always hurts trying to build a team up that way. Looking at the other division, we have the Mill Mountain division, which is led right now by the Thundercocks with 14 points. Currently sitting with 3 wins, no draws, no losses. Second place is the Cave Spring Crash Slan team with 2 wins and a loss. Third and 4th place is the Passing Pathogens and the Northwood Raiders, which is a Skaven and Norse team. And then we have the Rotten Judgment with 5 points, the Talabine Valley Titans with 4 points, and then 7th through 11th all have 2, 1, or 0 points, which is the Wasina Wog, Temple City Topplers, Southwest Venom, Monster Mash, and the Garden City Goats. Kind of looking at things that have gone on so far, there's only 2 teams right now that are undefeated in the Mill Mountain Division, which is the Thundercocks and the Passing Pathogens. The Thundercocks have scored 5 times and not allowed any touchdowns, which I think is the only team, in the entire league season so far, playing with 0 touchdowns allowed. The Northwood Raiders have put up an impressive 10 casualties to just 1 against them. And it looks like completion-wise, Passing Pathogens have 5 and Rotten Judgment both have 5. Looks like Northwood Raiders have caused the most injuries. And I think that's the Thundercocks currently have caused 6 fouls to just 2 against them. And it looks like there's not much other fouling going on in this division compared to the other one. So that's kind of the look at the standings so far. It looks like right now, overall, it would be ranked as far as the league goes. It would be the Thundercocks, then the Cave Spring Crash is the second team, Southeast Purple Haze. Then it would be really a 3-way tie between the Kansas City, the Passing Pathogens, and the Northwoods Raiders as kind of like the top teams in the league right now. All right, so looking at the honors, we'll kind of look at the team honors so far. So the most valued team right now is the Lothlorien Predators, sitting with a team value of 1285, followed closely behind by the Scumdogs of the Universe, sitting at 1270. Most teams, I think, are somewhere in the 1100 to 1200 range. Not many are over 1200 at this time. Most fame right now is the Purple Haze, sitting with the maximum 7 dedicated fans. And there are a number of others with 5 and 4 following behind that. The Southeast Purple A's put up 31 SPP this past week, which boosted them to the most experienced team so far with 64 SPP gained thus far. Scumdogs of the Universe have 52, and then a number of teams have over 40. Best performance, this is a combination of touchdowns, casualties, completions, interceptions, injuries, deaths, fouls, and a whole bunch of stuff. And the Purple Haze are currently sitting at the top with 38. There's a number of teams with just a slightly over 20, which includes the Northwood Raiders, Scumdogs, Ulthwin Winds, and the Thundercocks. Most score right now is the Purple Haze with 8 touchdowns, and then we have a four-way tie with 6 apiece. Best defense, as I mentioned, the Thundercocks is the only team so far that has not allowed a touchdown thus far. But the Kansas City, K-Spring Crash, Passing Pathogens, and the Titans are all sitting at 1 or 2 touchdowns allowed. Most beasts, this goes to the teams that are causing the most casualties, and it's currently a two-way tie between the Northwood Raiders and the Southeast Purple Haze with 10 apiece. And then the Scumdogs of the Universe are hot on their trail with just 9. Most injured, this is the team that's getting beat up the most, and so far it's been the K-Spring Crash and the Passing Pathogens that have been the punching bags so far. Most deadly, this is the team that's caused the most deaths, and the Talipime Valley Titans have killed 3 players, and the Southeast Purple Haze have killed 2. Most dirty player right now, that's the Thundercocks with 6 fouls caused, and like I mentioned, the Liver Spoiled Wretches and the Southeast Purple Haze are right behind with 5 each. And for as many fouls as the Liver Spoiled Wretches have caused, they've also been sent off 5 times. So they're not having a lot of good luck staying on the field, causing those fouls. And then most completions right now, it's the Southeast Purple Haze with 8. And as far as the best stunty team we have in the league right now, it's the Bloody Barons with Aaron taking the lead. I don't think anyone's going to beat him there throughout the season, so he'll probably remain at top there. The best run so far is currently the Thundercocks, who have won 3 consecutive games. So that's kind of a look at the team honors. Now let's look at the player ones. Most valued player we have in the league right now is Lucian Bloodsong. He's 165K. He's a war dancer for the Lothlorien Predators. We got Ted, who's a blitzer for the Ulthwin Winds at 155, Arsenic for 150, and then 2 werewolves, Rocky and Dr. Frankenfurter, with 145K each. Most valued big guy, this is right now Blothar the Berserkers at 190K, followed by the Incredible Bulk, which is the K-Spring Crash blocking Croxagore. President Z is right behind also, and Beefcake the Mighty on the Scumdogs as well. Most valued stunty, this is right now the Tricera Stomper Slade with an 80K payroll. Apple Crumb is right behind, which is a halfling catcher on the Bloody Barons. And then a number of Temple City Toppler Team Chameleon Skinks, which are just I think that's their base price. So at that point, I don't know if anyone's gained any skills to get them up above that. Most experienced right now, it's Pustulus Maximus with 23 SPP gained, and then Sneak Scuttlespike has a total of 22 SPP. So those two are right now leading the Spike Magazine Award potential. Best performance right now goes to Flicks Lateral with 10 total points, and that's touchdowns, casualties, completions, all combined. Sneak Scuttle Spike's right behind. Pustulus Maximus is there, and then a surprising Tater Cacklefowl, which is trying to make a name for himself on the Thundercocks, also has 7 points in that area, and then followed by Ariel Summerfield, a thrower on the Lothlorien Predators. Most scorer right now, Sneak Scuttle Spike scored 6 touchdowns, Pustulus Maximus 5. And then Arjun Forestvale, the catcher for the Lothlorien Predators, has 4. Most beasts, so this is casualties caused. We got Blothar the Berserker with 5, Joey the Anarchist with 4, and Berthold Spiegelman with 3, and a number of other players also with 3. Most injured right now is pretty much the Boggy Bottom boys leading that. We have Frogger and Weisenheimer. Both have 2 injuries taken thus far through 3 games. Most MVP, Pustulus Maximus, Sir Croaks-a-Lot, and a number of other players all have received 2 MVPs thus far. Most dirty player, this is the player that's causing the most fouls right now. Tater Cackle Foul has committed 6 fouls and only been ejected 1 time thus far this season, which is leading the league right now as far as fouls committed by a single player. Most sent off right now, Wuhan Flu and Udat Greenwonk. Both have been sent off 2 times. That's a Rotter Lyman and an Underworld Snotling for the Liver Spoiled Wretchers, and a Snotling for the Southeast Purple Haze. Most completions right now is Flicks Lateral with 8 completions completed thus far. Kellen, the Ulthuan Winds thrower, has 6, and Ariel Summerfield, the Lothlorien Predators thrower, has 5. Avery Flew also has 5, and Creontiades, I probably butchered the heck out of that, has 5 as well. So that's kind of a look at the honors. We'll take a look at round 4 coming up, maybe get some predictions in. So the first matchup we have in the Blue Ridge Division is the Tricera Stompers and the Blackwater Ferrymen, taking place in the Primordial Rainforest. Right now it's a pretty healthy Lizardman team, 2 blockers, 1 sure feet. They have a Crocs now against a very guard-heavy human team. There is a poor unlucky random here for Hail Mary pass, but for the most part, they have guard and kick stacked up pretty heavily. 11:35. I think this one actually goes to the Blackwater Ferrymen, being both the underdog, and I think they have a little bit better skills on their team. I think they're going to take this one 2-0 in this case. Boggy Bottom Boys against the Mill Mountaineers. Boggy Bottom Boys haven't been able to get anything going thus far. They have 2 block catchers, no dodge on them, and 1 blodging blitzer and a cannoneer passer against an up-and-coming dwarf team. That's a lot of players. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 players. So they've already hit their max pretty much. Only 2 rerolls, so not probably a huge deal. As long as they can play good defense, play back from the Boggy Bottom Boys, they can keep things covered. I'm going to say this one is going to be a tie, 1-1. The Ulthuan wins against the Scum Dogs of the Universe. So the Ulthuan wins, a little beat up, but not too bad. It's mainly just linemen. Still have Ted the Blitzer, who's going to be in the game. Pass, block, dodge, sidestep. Okay, against the Scum Dogs. Scum Dogs have essentially Blothar and Pustulus that need to lead the lead for them. Only 2 rerolls, but they do have a leader, which will bump them up to 3, so I'm not too worried there. I think the main thing that needs to happen here is the Winds need to play pretty good defense, try and stay away from these guys to not let all 3 of them get hits on them every single time. And they should be okay to be able to take this one, actually, and as long as they can keep Ted covered and placed against Pustulus here. Pustulus is going to be hard to take down. I mean, you're going to have to hit him. He can just dodge through on 1+s through tackle zones with the dodge reroll. I'm going to make this one 1-1. I think it's going to be a draw here as well. Liver Spoiled Wretches and the Purple Haze. So the Wretches, for whatever reason, I cannot click them. There we go. Slowly. There we go. Block, block, block. And extra arms, guard. Okay. Nothing missing that looks critical against Purple Haze, which is a healthy team with a bunch of snotlings. I think this one could go either way. I actually think as long as the Pestigore, Dr. Fauci, or mRNA could hang on to the ball, that this might not be too bad for the liver spoiled wretches. I think they can actually hold on to this one as long as they don't get ran all over. I mean, obviously they need to be conscious of placing their disturbing presence in a good position to prevent like chain handoffs of, Flick's lateral coming up and passing it to Sneak Scuttle Spike, because that disturbing presence will cause a whole bunch of minuses to catching any passes or handoffs. So you may be able to kind of shut down the kind of distance game that the Underworld Denizens may be playing. So I'm going to go with, I think this one's still going to go to the Purple Haze, but I think it's going to be I think it's going to be 1-0 is what I actually think this one will be. Next match, last match in the league thus far for the Blue Ridge Division is the Bloody Barons against the Kansas City. So the Halflings have a little bit up against them, sitting at a 785. So they're going to get some pretty good inducements, I imagine. Pretty healthy, it looks like, against, what's this? What is that? Oh, that's the Journeyman. Oh, that needs to decide on if he needs hired or fired because he gained some SPP. Still only 3 blitzers, 2 witch elves. Rest of the team's pretty healthy. 110k, so they could buy another blitzer. Yeah, they're only 100k. Could buy your 4th blitzer. That's probably worth doing, or getting an apothecary. But I think they're probably trying to keep their TV pretty low. This one here, I think it's going to be tough for the Barons unless they can get ahead on some casualties. I'm not sure what they're looking to induce, but they don't have a ton of money. I mean, once you get the chef, you're at 885, and then it's only 100. So you might get Rumbelow or something like that, which would be good. Rumbelow would be great against like trying to take down witch elves and things because he's block, tackle horns, so on, and can re-roll that armor break or add 1 to the armor break. I can't remember what his ability is, but it's something like that. I'm actually going to say this one is going to be 2-1 with the Kansas City winning this one. Next, we have the K-Spring Crash and the Taliban Valley Titans. So the Crash have a pretty good leveled up team. They have their 4th catcher. They also have a blitzer, apothecary, 3 rerolls, lots of blodge, or lots of dodge. There's a few blodge on there. There's a secondary block bulk for the incredible bulk against the Taliban Valley Titans, which are looks like a passing centric human team. If the Titans can kind of offset these 2 blitzers in such a way to protect the ball in the cage and get that guard in there, then it might be very hard for the K-Spring Crash to leap in and get a very good block against those players. And so I think this one is going to be I think this one's going to be 2-1 with the Valley Titans taking this one over the K-Spring Crash. All right, so next match, Rotten Judgment against the Monster Mash. The Rotten Judgment, let's see what they're looking at. 1 hurt lineman, everybody else is healthy, couple blodgers, 3 blodgers. Yep, cannoneer thrower, just 2 rerolls. I don't like that at all. Okay, against Monster Mash. Monster Mash have these guard, sidestep, block, and then the werewolves. With this one here, I think this one, 3 rerolls. I think this one's going to go 2-1, the Judgment over the Mash, but I think the Mash can do some damage. If they play I think what Jen, from just playing her, needs to do is not commit to try and score in 2 turns every single time, especially with a team like this. Stay back a little bit, work some players off the field, and then find a good time to punch through for a hole. Be a little more aggressive with the werewolves. That's what they're for. I mean, if you just keep them alive all the time and you're losing games, it doesn't really matter. So you might as well get them in there using their claws to take out maybe some of the blitzers, because the blitzers are going to be the only people that you can use that 8+ armor break on. And try and knock some of those things down. Just be very careful of the frenzy trap, because with the sidestep, he's going to be able to sidestep in such a way to get you into unfavorable blocks. So still 2-1 Rotten Judgment over the Monster Mash. The Thundercocks against the Northwood Raiders. So the Thundercocks, they're sitting with 4 block biggins, blitzer unskilled, blitzer with guard now, a blitzer with block unskilled, and then a skilled up blitzer that is going to be missing this game, which is Krill Skullclaw. Still have Duff Gravebuster, who is their main ball carrier right now, and then of course Tater Cacklefowl, which is cackling fouls and even scored a touchdown this past match. and is just one touchdown away from potentially getting sneaky get or something similar. Right now they're at 1040. I think there's some decisions to be made for me on whether I want to get an apothecary yet or another player. But I'll be thinking about that. So that's probably going to boost me up to around 1100 against, I think, Northwood Raiders. They're 1140. So I'm going to get probably either look to take either a Wog Drummer or a Bloodweiser keg. Probably a Wog Drummer more likely, but we'll see. Um, Against a pretty beat up Norse team. They're missing a Berserker, but they have most of their skilled players still. They also recently just picked up an anonymous Yeti who's yet to be named, which could do some damage with claws. Um, but tackle's not going to be very useful unless they're going after Tater Cacklefowl, which I don't mind. A dirty player could be useful. No guard though, so it's probably going to be not very good fouls with if they're my big ones are around or anything like that. And then block frenzy block. I think this is definitely a team that is going to possibly struggle because I have a ton of block already, and that's usually the thing that sets really Norse apart from these other teams. And so their 8+ armor probably won't outlast the 10+ that I have. Very likely if we all have block anyway, if we just get into a scrum. They only have 2 rerolls, which I think is going to hurt as well. But they do have an apothecary to save some people. I think this one is going to go. I don't know. I mean, they've been able to score pretty well, so I'm going to say this one's going to be 2-1 with the Northwood Raiders being able to score. I've not seen Nick play, so I'm not really sure. Honestly, how good he is, but I'm going to say that he's been able to score with people, so he's going to be able to score again. So, and then the next match is the Wasina Wog against the Garden City Shadow Goats. The Wog have 2 Mighty Blow Black Orcs that are out this game. Rip, that hurts. So only 4. They're going to be playing with some journeymen. Uh-oh. Okay, 1 Chaos Blocker that's out. Okay. I actually think this one is going to go to Daniel at this point. I think he's going to win this one 1-0 in this case is my prediction there. And then the passing pathogens against the Southwest Venom. Passing pathogens pretty healthy. Got a couple Mighty Blow, 1 Mighty Blow Tackler. That's probably the biggest problem for the Southwest Venom to face against a pretty beat up Dark Elf team. Hemlock's probably worth firing. Belladonna I would fire as well. And just take Journeyman. This passing stat's not a big deal, so I wouldn't fire that one. But it looks like the Venom are a little bit outskilled in this one here, and the TV's not that much different. I think this one will actually go to the pathogens. I'm going to give them a 2-1 victory over the Southwest Venom in this one, looking at those rosters. So, and I think that's it. So, everybody have a great round 4. Good luck to all the coaches playing. I know it looks like a lot of you are getting in, today or tomorrow or the day after during the holiday. So, I look forward to seeing those games happen, and then just everybody have a good week and enjoy the games. Thanks.